Now, as I mentioned, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be talking about the opening of other retail stores, shops thought of as non-essential that have been closed throughout. It's closed shops and the like on high streets and in shopping centres. Some have benefited from online sales, but for many, it's been deeply damaging, and they'll now have to spend huge sums on safety measures. Well, IKEA is one of those opening today. Here is the scene from Birmingham's IKEA earlier on. Extraordinary queues there, as you can see, the car park full well before the store's 10 a.m. opening time. It's operating social distancing with queues zigzagging towards the store entrance and the numbers of people allowed inside being strictly monitored. I'm guessing they're not all there for the meatballs. Well, Jace Tyrrell is chief executive of the new West End company, which represents around 600 retailers on and around the most famous shopping centre in the country, Oxford Street. Jace, welcome to you. How many stores are going to be trying to reopen 2 weeks today? As many as possible?
Absolutely. I think, well, we're looking at about over 90% who are ready. They were actually ready for today. Of course, it was the 1st of June, we thought initially, but actually the 15th of June, over 90%. A lot of preparations, obviously, on safety for both colleagues returning to work, but also customers that start to venture out into the West End. But that safety point is so important, and obviously it's going to be gradual as we start to welcome visitors back into the area.
Now, you're trying to get retailers to stagger opening hours. What typically do you think opening hours ought to be?
I think we've got a different dynamic in central London with a lot of public transport. So we're looking at around 11 to sort of 5 p.m, 6 p.m, 7 p.m. So I think a lot of the businesses, whether you're Prada to Primark, you've got lots of operational considerations. So staggering the opening time obviously helps their colleagues coming back to work do so in a safer way. But also we need to manage, as you say, these queues, these people. So having that sort of sense of different trading hours will help manage some of those operational and safety challenges when we first start to reopen.
Jace, you just made a very crucial point there. Most people getting to Oxford Street and Regent Street do so via public transport. There's not a lot of evidence people want to hop on the tube or the bus right now, is there? Are you worried about footfall?
Well, I think we all recognise it's going to be very slow to begin with. We haven't got the international tourists here for quite some time. We won't have as many probably UK domestic tourists, but we do have a system in the West End. 70% of our visitors do arrive on public transport, so it will be a challenge. We're working very closely, as you'd expect, with Transport for London and Westminster City Council to put in a lot more provisions for cycling, for walking, both for our colleagues and our customers coming in. But it's going to feel very different for quite some time. We really hope the government will look again at the 1 metre and 2 metre, because that makes an awful amount of difference in terms of the capacity issues on public transport, but also allowing customers safely and staff back into our businesses. So we need to work this through. I have to say, though, it does feel a bit like the Olympics at the moment here in London, where everyone's sort of coming together, recognising the challenges, doesn't want to compromise on safety, and trying to find those solutions between businesses and the public authorities really coming together to work on this, and safety is top of everyone's minds.
Well, you say that, but the government's got this quarantine period coming in, which is obviously going to deter foreign shoppers. The London Mayor's just extended the congestion charge to weekends. I mean, none of those look particularly helpful measures to your retailers.
We really don't support this quarantine for lots of reasons. I think we've got to have a level playing field with other countries, access for international visitors, and it's not just about the next couple of months. For us, we have about £5 billion of sales every year from international visitors and tourists. So actually, those visitors, perhaps from the Middle East, from China, from the USA, which is really important to the ecology of the West End, whether it's retail, the theatres, the restaurants, they need time to prepare and to book for those trips later this year or next year. So having this quarantine initially means we're off the list. They won't be thinking about London or the UK to visit. So this is going to be really damaging, not just for the first couple of months where we weren't really expecting international tourists, but actually as we start to get into 2021, we really need to start recovering and build up that momentum. We really encourage the government to really have another look at this again really seriously and make sure that we have a level playing field right across the globe in terms of access to airports and international visitors.
All right, Jace Tyrrell, got to leave it there. Great to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.